Everybody, welcome back. Everybody, welcome back. I'm Yumble, and today we get to continue our city in Cities Skylines 2. Very exciting stuff. So here we are. Thus far, we're at the large village level. We're making money. We're gaining population. We've got 2,000 pop. That's all well and good, but something I realized about our starting interchange, and I've let this go on for way too long, the left lanes exiting the roundabout are unusable, as evidenced by the fact that they don't look like the rest of it. Like in this game, you can see where cars are intended to travel or where they are allowed to travel by looking at the lighter areas on the road. So today what I'd actually like to start with before we get to the city building is I want to tweak this roundabout and fix it in a way that makes it more functional. Because I've seen this, I kind of started building on a different save, and I did not like how this worked as the population grew. Not a fan. So what we're actually going to do, in true Yumble form and fashion, we're going to purchase that tile, and I'm going to modify this to fix it. For those of you that know how I usually do things, I do a lot with interchanges and I mean, that's it, full stop. I do a lot with interchanges or intersections or roundabouts or whatever you're into. I'm into that too. So right now what I want to do is actually turn this into something a bit more workable and functional. I'm just going to delete the existing infrastructure here, and we're just going to get rid of all this. I like the shape of what they did, and one day I'll learn how to build that myself, but for now, we're going to do something slightly different, a variation on a theme, if you will. I just want to make this into 2 roundabouts. So much like the roundabout over here, where it's pedestrian, it can be used by pedestrians, it can be traversed, it can be crossed. I want to replicate that sort of thing over here. So it's not that the old one didn't look nice, it's just that it doesn't function the way I want. That's what it comes down to. So I'm just going to run that road right through there, and you can already see that this is connected. These roads are still good. Something I'm real excited for that I did not get to cover last time was how highways work. I'm going to be doing this so much once the full game comes out. You better believe. We're going to unlock Advanced Road Services, which is kind of like your vanilla traffic manager type things. And then I'm going to unlock highways. So though this road is not a highway per se, this one is, and we'll be able to upgrade that one so it has sidewalks. But what we're focusing on here is actually going to be the lanes built into this. 2-lane highway. Let's get crazy. Now you can see that there's an alignment here. There's different spots that this snaps to. What I want to do is snap to about the center of the whole thing, I think. So right about there. And then I'll align it over here, and you'll notice, look at that. It's as if node controller and, well, what else? Several different things. Node controller, move it, traffic manager. It's as if those things are just built into the game, and you can see that it's aligned where this lane is the straight through one, and this is a merge. We can do that on both sides. Depending on your alignment and how you desire this to work out, maybe you'd want it over here. Maybe you'd want it over here. In this case, I can't think of any good reason why, but there's all kinds of flexibility just built in. We can also extend this to here, just so it matches the other side and gives them a bit more time to merge. And then they'll wind up having to merge down again, and that's pretty typical highway behavior. But this right here would work totally fine on its own. I would recommend removing some crosswalks. Yeah, there's no reason to have pedestrians crossing the street in the middle necessarily. And I also want to swap out this road for a median road, just to get things going here. I think that the more, how can I say it, like higher volume roads do well as median roads, just for safety reasons, and it spaces out the roundabout a little bit, and it's cool. I love this too, that the median actually breaks and creates a pedestrian island. I don't know if that functions as a pedestrian island, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is exactly what we want. It's traversable by pedestrians. All the lanes are usable. This is great, and we'll look at this before I throw the roundabouts in. I just want to see how it behaves. Perfect. It's almost as if the lights are synchronized, though I don't know if that's actually true. Not 100% sure. But that is your standard diamond. And we can upgrade this just one extra notch if we want to by putting roundabouts there. And I think that is a great... Good job, everyone. I think that is a great way to upgrade this in the way that I see fit. I think that's a great workflow in general. I really love that I did not have to add the markings here. The shadows are still a bit wonky, but that's okay. I'll forgive them for the shadows because the road system works so very nicely. So I'm very, very happy with that. With the interchange out of the way and the perfect timing of Grand Village, let's start designing a new area in our city. Now, back over on our waterfront city core, there are some issues. There's some issues with some of the buildings, but don't worry about that for now. I think that'll be fixed in an update as the game evolves. But what we've got to work with here is some space as well as some new demand. So now you'll notice in the bottom left, there's high density residential demand. And that comes in the form of low rent housing at the Grand Village level currently. So low rent housing is high density, large apartment buildings with small, cheap apartments. So this is for, I mean, whoever needs a lower income apartment, whatever group in the city needs a lower income place to live. So I really want to put this somewhat close to downtown, as it is higher density, and that will affect commercial demand. Or rather, the commercial, the how appealing a given area is to a commercial area. So that is zoned in. You'll also notice the purple line down here. Oh, by the way, that just totally ate up that demand. The high density demand is now gone, so congrats. Good job, everyone. Couldn't have done it without you. Offices are small office buildings, and eventually we'll unlock skyscrapers, but for now, I suppose I just want to intersperse some offices in and around the area here. Actually, let's do this. Let's, you know what? We'll throw a couple roads in here. Something that I do regret in this playthrough, or in building this city, is I wish I'd used smaller roads, because we do have this alley option. I had underexplored this when I made that first video, that first pass at this city. But I love the idea of using the alleyway rather than the full 16-meter wide road. You can use an 8-meter wide alley. That'll serve us well moving forward as we do perhaps denser areas. But I think this spot is kind of a good nook for some office buildings. Ooh, and we have more high-density residential. This is where the game really diverges from City Skylines 1, in my opinion, is the way that demand works and how it can affect your decisions as you make things, as you make a functioning, well-simulated city. It's very, very good. We do have, along with the demand that we're fixing, we do have low-density and medium-density residential. So what that really means is that the people from higher-density buildings, or the people who live here, might want to move to a more mid-density situation or a low-density situation, and that's cool. Let's give them a place to do it. I'm just going to build out this section right here. Right now, I'm going to throw in a path to fix the zoning squares. So another element, something else that the community seems to be looking for in future updates, or hoping for, I know I am, is the ability to turn off zoning squares. So kind of a zoning toggle type situation. I just know that I don't want any buildings facing these roads. So if we do that and then throw in some buildings, the zoning should stay the way we have it here. For now, I'm going to keep commercial somewhat centralized. Like maybe we'll have little pockets of commercial here and there. Like I don't think it's inappropriate to throw in like a bank of stores over here, like just a small pocket of stores to, but I will say, here's what the demand looks like. We now have some green on the map, which means that these two towers here, not Sauron, not Gandalf, not whoever, Saruman, but these two apartment towers are actually saying that we have green demand here, which, as you can see, our commercial suitability is very high. Or sorry, our customer base is very high in this area. So I'm going to take that opportunity to throw in a little commercial right on that plot there. But cool, now that we've zoned these in, it shouldn't be a problem to remove these guys. The zoning should stay. But this is kind of a cheap fix to a more persistent problem, which is just zoning. Just getting the zoning options right, or some sort of zoning toggle or something. So let's just get in here, and we'll zone over and get row houses. And these will probably turn into apartments, or even better yet, maybe even mixed use. You're going to see mixed use today. I'm very excited for that. All right, now that a bit of the housekeeping is improved and a bit more suburban development is happening, I want to look at the citizen happiness for a few minutes here. We have a lack of entertainment, which has just happened at the new level due to a lack of parks and recreation. So immediately, I think we should go in and unlock some larger parks. Oh, and park maintenance too. Very nice. Ooh, and sports parks. Let's just do a large park for now. And in anticipation of things to come, I'm also going to buy the crematorium. It's important to kind of know how much things cost, and I just know that the crematorium is within our budget and within our profit here, whereas the hospital is going to prove expensive for where we're at. So let's just buy the crematorium for now. That'll expend most of our points. So first things first, I'm a realist. First things first, I want to add a park here, and I'm going to go with the large city park. Or is there an even bigger one? Ooh, a large plaza. This could be even cooler to work with here. Yeah, let's do a large plaza, and we can build stuff along the sides of it. Yeah, that'll do just fine. That'll work out. We're going to plant trees along it, and maybe buildings or something. But that's going to improve the well-being or the entertainment of this area. Something I'm also excited about is that there's small parks, and you can tuck them away anywhere. So this is a small park. I'll put it on the corner here, down on the corner, out in the streets. We'll do that, but it gets better. There's a small playground. The small park, or the small park, as it's called, is a 4x4. The small playground is a 2x2. So we're talking about the grid here, the squares. So you can fit this virtually anywhere, or well, anywhere within a 2x2 space. So I can eliminate that little house there. I'll leave the other little house next to it. They can be buddies. We'll check up on them later, I guess. Now they're gonna get engulfed or enveloped by this higher density area as it expands, I suspect. For the crematorium, I think that is why people are saying that there's unreliable health coverage. That's my best guess, but we'll cover all our bases here. So let's go in. We do have a cemetery that we set up last episode. That is there, and that's cool. It's outputting hearses and doing its thing. But I would like to set up the crematorium just so there's options. And you can see that there's a healthcare availability, crematorium availability, and cemetery availability. The healthcare coverage is probably real healthcare, but I figure why not? We'll just cover our bases on everything here, get everything squared away. How about on this corner up in suburbia? Another cool thing I want to point out about the roundabout system in this game is the alleys can also use roundabouts. And I think it's fantastic because this is a great tiny roundabout. It's great, it's tiny, it's round. It's smaller than... Let's do a size comparison here. Let's just to see, because I've not actually done this myself. Let's go up in the middle of nowhere here. Let's do this. Small roundabouts all around. Small roundabout on the medium-sized road, small roundabout on the big road, and then a small roundabout on the small road. So you can already see, I probably could have put these closer together, but yeah, the small roundabout is the size of the center island. That's really what you're putting down, is that central island, which then blocks traffic from crossing the roundabout directly, which forces traffic to go around it. And that's really what makes the roundabout work. If your city or town decides to put one in that allows traffic to go straight through, it's not having the traffic calming effect, the slowing that a roundabout should have. So that small island looks different in 3 different positions. Our city has reached Tiny Town. And by city, I mean our town. Our tiny town has reached Tiny Town. We've arrived. And by we've arrived, I mean we must continue. What does Tiny Town have that other things don't? Transit was unlocked in the last one, so I could do bus lines, but the city is not even necessarily large enough to warrant that just yet. The major difference between this level and the last level, I think, is that we now have telecom. Sorry, telecom and post. So we can place a post office. Let's just do it. It'll be across the street from the farm. And then we can put, to extend its range, we can put in post boxes as well, or mailboxes rather. So maybe we need a couple downtown, right? So our downtown area can be well served. And then perhaps 1 or 2 in each neighborhood. Just enough to get the mail. Just enough so that people don't have to go all the way to the post office. Because the trucks will come out and then they will pick up mail from the mailboxes. So that's one way to increase your citizens' happiness. We also have the telecom building, which this is our internet. There's other things too, and I'm not going to take the time to read up on them now, but what's right in front of me here is this telecom tower. Eventually people will be sad. You can see it there, unreliable internet service. So what we need is this radio mast in town to up our signal game. I might put down 2 or 3 of them potentially. Empty areas seem to be green, as in like there's no one there to use the signal, but then the second you move it into a more dense area, it seems to turn yellow. So I think that that's related. Do I understand it completely? No. But do I like it? Yes. And then one more in this suburban area, this block next to the offices, I think. Love it. Excellent. Now, the second we leveled up, high-density residential demand also changed. Oh, we have mixed use. We have mixed use, everyone. We've made it. We've arrived. This is the moment that you, me, and everyone else, it seems, have been waiting for. Mixed-use housing. So what I want to do is put this in a place where there's density to support customers. So we need a place that has a customer base and also a place that people want to live, and that's downtown. That's entirely downtown. So let's pick a street, and let's do this side of the street here. I really want this to ultimately become a mixed-use area. So we'll do that, and that'll satisfy a bit of medium density demand. It'll also satisfy some commercial demand. But we'll get to highlight the difference between these 2 types of zoning here. One is North American medium density housing. The other is North American mixed housing. So the medium density housing, you'll notice it's set back from the road a little bit. The zoning goes right up against the road, but the asset itself, or the building itself, is recessed a little from the road. There's a little plaza out front. There's some standing, walking area out front, trash can, all that kind of things. The mixed-use buildings, but now you can see there's entrances on both sides of the corner building. The mixed-use building has commercial on the lowest level, and then residential up above. Very nice looking buildings. Like, this is going to be very easy to make a Brooklyn or all kinds of places all over the US and other places where they have commercial on the bottom floor and then apartments all the way up. As distinct from these medium density housing buildings, which are more like apartment complexes that don't have commercial on the bottom. They're a bit more standalone and they don't have a wall-to-wall functionality that these do. So ultimately, the mixed-use buildings tend to look and work a little bit better, and ultimately I'd love to replace this entire area with mixed use if possible. Here's something real fun that I think a lot of you will appreciate. Take our path. I was just working on some paths over here to increase connectivity to the high school and to this upper area compared to downtown. But what I remembered was that you can do pelican crossings automatically. It's beautiful and brilliant and wonderful. There's probably a better scheme to use for all these paths and such, but for now I'm just going to do that. And it's worked perfectly. Yep, that's exactly what we want. So this has added what's called a pelican crossing, just by crossing the pedestrian path with a large road, or a medium road in this case. Pelican is short for pedestrian lighted can. Well, I don't remember what pelican stands for, but it's essentially a pedestrian crossing with a traffic light to protect it. Another thing of note, very important here. This building does not have enough customers. Cool, identified. This building is paying high rent currently, which means that it's the wrong density of zoning. So it needs a higher density zoning to make up for that property value, which is affecting their... Ooh, okay, so we can't actually see the property value. Maybe I don't understand how these interact exactly, but I'm going to rock and roll. What this tells me is there's not enough customers, so that means I can add some more dense zoning in this area. So I'm going to put in another low-rent kind of apartment building. Let's do it right next door, actually, to that business that's having a hard time. That'll give them more customers. Now, over here, what this means is it needs a higher density zoning, so I'm going to switch this to medium density, this entire little plot here, this whole little section. I do see demand going on, so let's take a look at the demand again, and I want to talk you through this. The way that suburbia happens, the way that these low-density areas really happen mechanically in the game, is because these red areas are unsuitable for low-density houses. So those lower-density buildings will not grow on these roads. The ones that you're seeing on these roads are medium-density housing. This low density that's already existing here is actually a very good candidate for replacing with a mid-density, with medium-density row houses. So I'm going to do that. And you'll see that the medium density gets pushed out away from here, and the closest medium density housing, this will eventually become something mixed use, much like these buildings across the way. So I think that the mixed use is going to slowly but surely take over things here, in a good way, in the best way. Okay, I forgot to build a fire station. But I don't think it's my fault since nobody's asked for it yet. I just noticed now that there's high crime. Yeah, there's high crime, so we can solve that too. But I do think it's a bit strange that the game never really asked me for fire coverage. In theory, you should always need a fire department, so I don't know what happened. Yeah, look at that. No fire coverage whatsoever. Average fire hazard of 98%. We are living medieval right now, honestly. Not great. I'm just going to put it right there because that will give good access to kind of the entire city as a whole as it stands. Over time, I'm going to wind up having city services that are done by district. So we'll have downtown will be one district, and lower density whatever will be another district, and this area and this area. So we'll have individual districts per service building. So I'm excited for that, but right now we'll be fine with one building per service. Now that high crime is still a thing, so where is our police station? There it is, right next to the fire department. I'm cool with that. But I would like to change it a little bit. Let's actually put it on this main road. So I'm going to move it to here. And then let's see what we can add. Oh, it's just a garage extension, so no big deal, nothing crazy. within the footprint of the thing, the garage gives us more space for police vehicles. So now we've doubled. We've got 12 police vehicles available, which will hopefully be enough to cure our high crime. I've also noticed unreliable health coverage, and I call bogus on that. I think we have great health coverage. Ask anyone. It's the best health coverage. It's fine. Where even is my... Oh, it's over here. We built it earlier, right? We built it up. We're only using 3 out of 10 vehicles, and we have plenty of space for patients. And also, our coverage is pretty solid. Maybe what we need... it's not pretty solid. I'm thinking what we actually need now is probably just several spots worth of ambulances. So let's just pre-update this one. And look at that. It fits perfectly. That is definitely the way the devs intended this to go, I think, because that looks much more correct. And we'll even throw in the ambulance depot. And now it looks much less correct, so I stand uncorrected. I also don't know if I can move. I know I can add more of these, which is cool. I really wish I could turn them sideways. I can't currently. That kind of bugs me. But once you've placed it, I've not found a way to move the components of this thing. You can move the whole thing at once, but the components all seem to be stationary. I can move the whole thing as a unit, but it's all going to move as a unit. As much as I wish I could move that one component over to this side or something like that. I just want the option. Options are important. For now, I'm just doodling along, but I thank you for sticking with. I'm very happy with this. Just to highlight things from the beginning of the video, very, very happy with the way that you can create interchanges. I look forward to pushing the limits of that in the future. I cannot wait. But until then, everyone, thank you for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.